All right, here we go. Welcome to the end of the game. That was the words spoken by memory implanted through a needle in the neck, Dolores. I think that's how that worked. Welcome everyone to the show. This is Pulp Mythos. I'm Brian here with Spencer,
Howdy.
and we are speaking through the interwebs. We are not in the same building. We are practicing our social distancing, as you all should be. And I know many are not because I see the traffic.
Jesus.
Stay home.
Yeah, no, dude. Like, I went to pick up groceries from Kroger's because they do the little grocery drop off stuff too, and the little grocery pickup. And oh my God, Lowe's had about 7,000 people sitting in it.
It's getting frustrating at this point, especially with what what all is happening and how bad it's getting, and certain people are just not complying. I mean, it's so simple. Unless you have to be out, obviously there are cases where you have to be out, but whatever.
Yeah,
Just yeah.
yeah, it just made me laugh because I was like, everybody got time off work, so
Yes.
you know,
And it's
everybody's
it's
starting
real funny
projects.
because so many places are closed, they have nowhere to go, so they're just hanging out in like grocery stores because that's all there. There's nothing else to do. All the
Yeah,
restaurants are closed, but
they
uh,
closed the parks too. So
yeah, parks are closed. Everything's closed.
yeah,
So Westworld, episode 4 of season 3.
the
Um,
virus.
yeah, this was I'd said before we started recording, this will either be a really short review or really long because it's very straight to the point, and it was very interesting to me how everything set up in the first 3 episodes was sort of paid off in this episode. I mean, we had there's full spoilers as usual, but I mean basically by the end of this episode you had William, the man in black, basically you arguably ended his story. You have the revelation
It
of the revelation of who all the host bodies are, Dolores copied. You have Dolores's plan all playing out perfectly as she wanted it to. You have a more understanding of Serac and why he's doing what he's doing and why he's using Maeve and how he's using Maeve. Like everything was sort of answered for us. So much so that as the credits rolled, I thought that's interesting. Where do we go from here? We've got this is technically the middle of the season. It's 4 episodes in. There's 4 left. What did you think about the fact that they went ahead and answered almost everything? Now you said you had some
I
theories.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. See, I think that a lot of it, not is not supposed to make you feel like they did, but is supposed to make you feel like they did. A lot of the stuff with William, I think, is just the beginning. I have the exact opposite of that. I don't feel that this is answered at all. Um, I think that they showed that taking the blood, getting that blood, what was it? The blood, not the titers. I was listening to some radio station talk about getting Corona titers or whatever, but they have um, the digital signature where they had to use the blood and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, they had that stuff set up. I think that that's why they were getting the blood is to basically create a new William. I don't think that it really had anything to do with them implanting memories. I think that Dolores also used. Remember how she did it with that first guy? She put the glasses on and how he was able to see all these things. I think that's
Hmm.
basically what they did with Williams, but it was like with a contact. Because if you look at the preview for the next episode, she has a contact in that's basically the same thing. So I think that William was seeing everything, but it was a ploy by Dolores to begin with. But she's, just torturing him. But I think they are still going to use him, but I think they're going to create a new one.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
that's not a bad thought. I
that's
mean,
my theory with William. And then
especially
the
with the fact,
whole,
real quick on William. Yeah, I hope there's more because it's odd. It's not only odd that you would end his story end his story. It's odd that you would end it here. So I do agree there's probably going to be more, and yeah, those are good theories.
we introduce him just to end his story. because they basically ended his story when he was down in the
True.
cave of that building. Like he was
Why?
just
Why bring him back?
sitting there reliving his own hell. Because, she said that by him getting put in a mental institution, all the shares get signed over to her. However, I don't know that necessarily that's their game, because to me, as a business person, if whoever has the most to gain by something like that is the person to suspect the most. However, if they're able to basically duplicate him and be another Dolores, then he could just play along. Like he can be himself and do whatever it is they want, as opposed to it looking like Charlotte Hale is. It looks as though she's trying to plan a coup. To me, it makes her look suspicious. Now, apparently, she was suspicious. She was the one that was leaking information and everything prior to, her getting Dolores' little pod circle put inside of her. But I think that one is also another Dolores. They would be able to run that, as opposed to, I just think it looks fishy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it from every other movie standpoint. Think of every other movie where it's who's the one person that has the most to gain. That's the person who's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
She would have the most to gain by that.
Well, I was thinking when the episode ended, I sat back and I said, wow, this whole episode was basically Dolores setting up all the pieces and winning, from beginning to end. Like everything fell into place exactly as she wanted it to. And I was thinking, I was like, in most stories, when you get to sort of the mid part of the story, that's when you throw in the big conflict or the big hurdle that the hero has to go through. And now you could look at this from multiple points of view. You could say Maeve is the hero and Dolores is the villain, and you've set it up against Maeve. Or you could say Dolores is wrong in thinking she's got everything going well. Charlotte, we've already seen, is having issues processing being in that body and with
yes,
cutting herself and everything. As a fan of comic books and stuff like that, we've, whether it's Mr. Fantastic and Fantastic Four or even Rick and Morty, the idea of multiple copies of a character and them plotting against each other or working against each other. Who's to say these copies aren't going to come up with their own? Dolores feels she can trust herself the most, but maybe that might not be the case necessarily,
Well, and also,
think about a human being. Who I am today will not be exactly who I am 2 years from now, or who I was 5 years in the past. We grow, we change, and so the Charlotte character, remember what she killed that guy last week, and she talked about how the hunter in me, and she had this whole spiel. That Dolores is becoming a lot different than we'll call Dolores Prime, for instance. That could work against her, possibly.
Well, and also, you look at, who was it, Bernard that said, is this Teddy?
Yes.
No, it was William that said it. So my thing is if it's not Teddy, if it's not, a bunch of those people who you think had her back, Clementine, like all these people, then their little like whoppers are still in there. So they're still,
They call them pearls.
Maeve's gonna, I couldn't remember. But I think that Maeve is going to.
It was the first time I remember what they called them. That's a good point. Like I said, like I was going back, what Dolores reminds me a lot of Brainiac. I know I'm using all these nerdy references, but it's a good one. She's someone who it's very disturbing what she's doing and how she's doing it, and I don't see a happy ending. She's very much like a supervillain in how she's handling things. And you even look at Serac, we finally got a little glimpse of his past, and I think we're going to get a lot more of that in the next episode, why he does what he does. You know, we saw that France has been destroyed, I guess, a nuclear war or whatever, something happened. And he's someone who sees humanity as destructive and will destroy itself. And he wants to figure out how to prevent that. He's harsh about how he's doing it, but that seems to be his goal.
Well, and there was 2 kids there.
Yes.
So who's the other kid? Did you watch the preview for next
Yes.
week or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that going to be who that guy is? Or is
Exactly.
that a young Sirach?
We're going back
or is it Ford? Like,
that's it. Well, going back to the whole idea of they gave us the impression that they answered everything already, and there's still 4 episodes. So clearly, there's more to be revealed that we don't know. Is Stubbs dead? That was one. I was kept looking for him in the preview. I didn't see him. Maybe I missed him.
I didn't see him, but
I hope not. She just threw him over a balcony. He should survive.
He's a robot. He should be good.
Exactly. That was what I thought. I think we've said it a couple episodes back, but it really is starting to feel, at least in this episode, that Maeve is the real protagonist of the series.
I think so. I don't think that was. I mean, I think it was always his original intent, but I don't think that was the direction they wanted you to feel initially.
Yeah.
I think that Dolores has a bit of a god complex.
Yes.
I think it started when she killed Ford. Like, it started from there and has progressed since then, because now she feels like, she's the one, she's destined. She's the one that's supposed to, do all these things, and it's not her. From what they're showing, it's Maeve. Maeve is the one that has, the super ultimate power. Like, Dolores was the key. She kind of was able to hack into everything. However, Maeve is, as far as the electronics or I don't know what they all are, the things that are connected to whatever system, she can basically control all of them. Like, everything.
Yeah. Talk about a dumbass. I kept thinking that with the Yakuza. Like, why do you have guns with machines on them? I mean, I guess that was to help them aim. That's basically what they said. But the fact that she could take control of them.
Well, yeah, or any hacker. Like, to me,
Yeah,
they have this Rico app that is, able to, you can do this for hire. Someone created that. So you don't think that somebody could create some kind of, even if it wasn't able to control it that well, where they're basically shooting each other up, you could probably make it miss you. Like,
yeah. That was an interesting little reveal. And then it was, bait and switch. The guy from Shogun World brought back then just to reveal that it was just Dolores in the body. Yeah. But
I didn't know who it was, but I was happy to hear it was Dolores, because once you kind of figure that out, who else has the ability to kind of Matrix style it, where they implanted all the things? And she was one of those people. So her and Maeve are very even as far as one being able to fight the other. But now there's 5 Doloreses, or however many there's going to end up being. I don't know. But, with there being multiple Doloreses, I don't know what the plural of Dolores is. But with there being multiple, that puts her at a supreme disadvantage. So that's why I was thinking, she's going to look after Teddy. She's going to try and get Teddy, Clementine, Bernard. Like, Maeve is going to be this. She's going to rally the troops, but it's going to be to go after Dolores.
Yeah, because basically now, I believe, after Bernard is given, instructed on, hey, this is what insight is, this is what Sirach's trying to do. Obviously, it appears that Bernard's going to go to Dolores' side, at least for now, to some degree. So the real Dolores conflict is Dolores and Maeve. And then Caleb is still a wild card. We new character. don't know how he plays in. Still a lot of questions as to whether or not Caleb is a real person. I mean, that's come up in some debate. What if Dolores planted him all along, or somebody else?
Yes, but that was the thing too, that I think that's what they were trying to show you, that he's not.
Yeah,
But that could also be a ploy that
could be.
they're trying to make, that, because Bernard hit the little, malfunction, run your protocol thing on Caleb, and it didn't work. And he's like, what? And before he ever, got to try and do it again, Chib's Dolores showed up, and
It was really good in this episode also.
Yes. But so for me, I don't know if Caleb's real or not, or if he's, something else. Like, I don't know necessarily that he's, maybe he's a military grade, because, Dolores and them, the hosts, were created for a lot of money, but they were created for theme parks and shit.
Yeah.
They weren't created, for military grade, and he's prior service. So I don't know if, maybe the military or the government was working on something else, and he is that, as opposed to, whatever Dolores and them are manufactured. I don't know. Maybe he's like a Deus Ex, where he's like half and half or something.
Yeah. I am very curious. Where does this all go? Like I said, there's 4 episodes left. As it appears, the Serac wants to take Dolores and her faction out, and he wants Insight to be pushed even further, so that he can understand humanity so much so that he can essentially control it. And Dolores wants to take down Insight, take down Serac, and she wants to take humanity out too. She wants to, get her people going.
I think she also wants revenge. I mean, look at what
Yeah,
happened
that's
with
what
those
it
parts,
boils down to. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing too, is like, Dolores isn't the good guy, but who Maeve is working for isn't the good guy either. So it's,
Yeah.
like I said, it's very gray area. Everybody's got their own agendas, but nobody's really good.
Yeah. And then like I said, then you have someone like Caleb who's sort of in the middle, similar to Maeve. Maeve has been offered the potential chance to be with her daughter for forever. I like the whole idea of, him saying you essentially have the option to be in heaven, and, that appealing to her.
But I think, yes. However, show them what's happening with Charlotte. So you can basically fight the programming. You can fight the thing. So what happens if she goes to heaven and it's, not meant to be? Like, it's not, she knows that she's not supposed to be there. So then what? She fights it the whole time? Like, it's...
Yeah. The whole... one of the themes of this series, going back to the beginning of the first episode of season 1, is what is reality? What is real? What is not real?
What if they go back to like the last episode of the first season, and this is Ford like running through all the possibilities of what could happen? I
had a theory a while back, and it was basically that what if Dolores was Ford? He had built his mind and changed it enough to, like, Dolores doesn't realize that she's Ford, and that she, sort of like how Bernard is a copy of the original guy. What if Dolores is Ford? It was something I thought. I don't know. Maybe still, it's not a. I don't think it's a radical idea.
That's too much of a reach. No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Dog's eating ice cube. It was loud as shit.
Okay. I had no idea what that was.
It was like
puppy or the.
Yeah.
Your puppy
ice
cubes.
Yeah.
That's some weird shit, man. That dog.
It's a German Shepherd thing. I don't know.
Likes to eat ice cubes.
Yeah. It's his favorite. Keep him thin though, because Cooper loves snacks, like all the snacks. Puppy, you just give him a piece of ice and he's happy.
One other thing that I loved about this episode was the heist / spy vibes that it had
Yes.
throughout. That was really nice. I like, Caleb and Dolores emptying out the bank account, and just that whole process was really
Well,
neat.
yeah, to me, once you moved away from the Westworld part, um, this cyberpunk, cybernetic future type uh, alternate universe that we're in at this point, I think that's a very cool way to take it, because I think that would be, you look at organized crime at that point, it would all be very electronic. It would be
Yeah.
very, even now it's turned in more to identity theft and those kind of
Mhm.
things, as opposed to just going around and shooting up
Well,
places.
I mean, we're in a point even in our society, and I think especially with what's going on in the current environment, we're moving more digital. Like even everything we own is digital, whether it be music, books, movies. All of our entertainment is all digital, video games, etc. So a lot of your possessions are all in a digitized form, even currency. There is no physical outside the couch you sit on and the TV you watch. Um, yeah, everything's digital. So if you can get into that, steal everything.
Well, yeah, because you look at money, like, there's, you included, there are some people who still use cash, but you can't send somebody on eBay $50 to send you something. Like,
Yeah,
you have to use PayPal or your credit card or something like that. So them being able to access, Liam's entire account
yeah,
and take all of his stuff, that to me just shows the power of what Dolores is able to do. But
yeah,
Maeve is also able to do the same thing as far as, connecting with other hosts and electronics, because she was able to, break into the Yakuza base, basically just hack the little keypad and go in. So if she's able to do all that, I wonder if she will basically get to the point where, instead of fighting Dolores with guns and everything else, if she starts fighting Dolores that way, like they're going back and forth, like hacking each other or going back and forth
that'd
trying
be a
to.
very cyberpunk thing to do. Yeah, man, I want that game now. I got pushed to the well, who knows when it'll come out now, but
They're pushing it for next generation. That's what they're doing. So
that's
they
probably
have it
was well.
launch with.
It got pushed to the end of the year, and then with what's going on, there's a strong chance it's probably going to get pushed. You're right. It'll probably be next year after the PS5 and the new Xbox come out.
Xbox
Um,
Series One X,
yeah,
XR Series.
yeah, whatever dumbass name it has. Yeah, but you'll still be able to get it on current gen or last gen, whatever you want to call it now. Um, so yeah, as far as episodes, I saw some people online. I was getting a feel for how people like this episode. A lot of people love this episode. Some saying it was one of the best ever. I still say episode 2 is my favorite of the season. Um, but it was a strong episode. There hasn't been a weak episode this season. I think all 4
No.
have been solid. Where would you
Uh,
rank it? Are you
I would think that this episode is probably at second,
okay? Yeah,
because, like you said, I thought the Maeve centric episode was still the best. However, this one was a close second
yeah.
because of the espionage. It felt like I don't know, like Captain America Civil War,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
where it
absolutely.
was, no, Winter Soldier, not
Winter
Civil War,
Soldier. Yeah, yeah.
where it was more
Or both.
espionage
Yeah.
based, and it was felt less like a superhero movie and more like a crime espionage Bond movie, and that's what this felt
Yeah.
like. It felt more like Bondish and uh, I don't know, Jason Bourne and
Mm-hmm.
people running around, and
24.
yeah, it did. It felt like they were racing against the clock, but episode 2, I felt more of a emotional connection to it, and the way I you know like movies is when they, whether it doesn't have to be a sad emotion, but I mean, like, whether I get excited or sad or happy or surprised or whatever. It sparks an emotion. This episode didn't really spark an emotion. I was just impressed with the cinematography of it, the way the story flowed and everything. But
That
episode 2, to me, you felt connected to a character, and that's why I ranked it higher.
gross but beautiful. The shot of Maeve on the ground with the blood and that white stuff, chemical or
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
mixing, like it was really well, shot. Um, the look of the episode. My only concern going forward is there's only 4 episodes. It's like, um, are we going to have a satisfying ending to this season? And I say that because I still am not sure if we're going to get another. And so that's my concern right now is, oh my god, there's only 4 episodes. Are we going to get a satisfying ending? I like to think we will. I hope so, but
I would like to think so, but who knows with HBO?
yeah, yeah.
Because
Well,
they're
go ahead.
filming a lot, like on, uh, like even with Game of Thrones, it costs a ton because they're filming in
Exactly.
Iceland, Ireland, everywhere. This one, according to what they said when I was watching the behind the scenes thing, which I thought was odd, they didn't have one this week. So
Mm,
I don't know if that's because um, they were trying to not give stuff away,
might be it. Yeah.
but they didn't have one this week.
Well,
But
maybe one of those things where the events, similar to what you said earlier, they wanted to lead you to believe that they answered all these questions when in fact it was deliberate to throw you off, perhaps, on a lot of things.
yeah, it threw me off because I think they just raised more questions. They didn't answer shit.
Um, yeah, that was about it. Any more thoughts before we wrap it up?
Trying to think. Well, from the preview,
Mm.
there's a couple scenes where it looks like Caleb dies, but then it looks like he's not dead. But it looks like he's fighting. It looks like they're trying to. Someone's talking to him. I think it's Bernard in the trailer for the next episode. Bernard. So, do you feel like Dolores is using Caleb? And if she is, why?
Yeah, some Caleb is the wild card with all of this. Just because what is his purpose? And I don't know. Yeah, maybe. What if Caleb is Ford?
Oh
I'm
shit!
gonna jam Ford
Or
back in here
descendant?
somehow, or that. Yeah. I don't know. Caleb
Or
clearly is important. I just don't know why yet.
or like I was saying, that half machine, half human. Like
Mhm.
Ford died, but remember he had a kid. So he made that whole family and that whole thing. What if Caleb is the kid?
It could be something like that. Caleb is important, and it just comes down to why. What is the purpose in the the grand scheme? Because especially in this episode, every single character in this episode was playing a part that Dolores had orchestrated to some degree. Why Caleb? Who is
Yeah.
Caleb? Caleb's a nobody, but based on what the show is telling us. And so I don't know, what what part he plays. And the only reason I'm suspicious is because of the way they introduced him. Though a lot of people were pointing out they introduced him waking up, very similar to how Dolores used to always wake up when her cycle would reset for the next day. And, some people were already speculating with the first episode is Caleb host.
Well,
This
yeah,
guy,
and like you just made that connection to
or is that just a
Dolores.
artistic? Yeah, or
Yeah,
was that
they're
just
just
an
trying to
artistic
draw
thing?
parallels or whatever.
Yeah, so
Because,
I
like
don't
you
know.
said, the living the same day over and over. Like he went, ate his lunch, sat
Hmm.
down. Like it was very. But like you said, or is that like more of an artistic thing where we basically, us as humans, are the same thing? We go through the
Yeah,
same motions every
and
day. I mean, with the exception of what's going on now, like I woke up Monday morning, got up, got ready, went to work,
hmm
came home, ate dinner, went to bed, got up, got ready, went to work. Like,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
is it just saying that our life isn't that much different? Like you said, is it more of a artistic statement, or is it like a trying to let you know on a secret,
Hmm.
in on a secret? So I don't know.
And you had pointed out, how they kept saying, well, his mom doesn't remember him um, properly, and maybe she has Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever, but maybe not. You had said this back in the first episode. What if that's literally not her son?
Well,
Yeah.
and they made a good mention of that this episode, where it's like they said who ODs in this age
Hmm.
because they were trying to do the drugs, because with the advancement of technology and medicine and everything else, and being able to transport your body to somebody else's body, via the host kind of thing, why would she not remember him?
Yeah.
Because similar to Bernard, Bernard was made in the image of somebody else. What if that
Hmm.
is her son, but he's in somebody else's body? Similar to like altered carbon or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I hope Stubbs is alive. That's my. That's my. Oh, but yeah, good episode. Loving this season. Sad that it's only 4 more weeks until it's over.
Hopefully not for good.
Yeah, hopefully not for good. I agree. Any last thoughts?
No, I think Barry starts soon, so I'm pretty excited about that.
It does
About,
it.
I think so. I think it's
Whenever it
supposed to
does.
start.
Yeah,
I love Barry. But
I
they,
love Barry. Yeah, we'll do Barry. Whatever season there are 3.
yeah, it's so good.
We will
But they,
review that whenever it comes. Let me
but
look
I
it up.
think that this episode, it to me, it was one of the best. That's we talked about episode 2 being so high out of all the episodes, not just of the season, because it was only the second episode of the season, but how it was one of the better episodes of the entire series. I feel that same way about this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was different because we haven't shown a lot of the. Oh shit! Stepped on a squeaky floorboard. The we the whole espionage part, the Bond movie kind of feel to it. It was set in the future. They didn't show really any flashbacks until the very, towards the middle end, where Dolores walks out in her Dolores outfit. Like, so I felt like this episode was one of the better episodes of the season, of all the seasons as well, just because it was a different tone. It felt different, but
Yeah.
you still felt
Barry
connected to the characters.
Barry is currently one of every single show out that's being delayed because of current
Oh, God
events.
damn it.
Yeah, current events has stopped production. So there you go. Oh well.
That sucks.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna run out of entertainment here soon. We can start watching old Star Trek episodes or something.
I just finished Parks and Rec, so
The whole thing.
yeah, I've watched it a couple
Jesus.
times.
I'm about to say, yeah, I know you had seen it in the past.
Yeah.
I'd done an Office run.
Oh Jesus, I've done
rerun.
Office so many times, but I was like, well, let me try something different. I haven't
Gotta.
rerun the Parks and Rec in a while, so I did that.
I might go back and do Trailer Park Boys again. It's been a little while. But all right, yeah, we'll see you guys next week for episode 5 of Westworld.
Everybody go to Lowe's and start a new project.
All right. See ya.
Bye.